We'll get some good water. What up to all my fellow kings and queens out there? It's your boy CJ. For those of you who do not know me, I am an NAIA Division II basketball player. I currently attend Concordia University, Ann Arbor. As you can see, we're on the map next year. Look out for us, thank you. I'm gonna keep it short and simple. This video is for all the players that are in high school, middle school, all the players that are looking to play college basketball. This will answer pretty much any questions that you have, or really the big things that I came up with. Players that I had coming out of high school about the college experience and what it's like playing college basketball and what it takes to get to that level, what it takes to play college basketball, what coaches look for, all that. And so I'm going to try to cover it as short, sweet, simple as I can. Okay, so first things first. I know you heard your mom, dad, uncles, aunts, cousins, teammates, coaches. They all talk about one thing, which is the most important thing. Go ahead and take a guess at what that is. I'll wait. Okay, if you haven't figured it out by now, the number one most important thing is grades. Grades. Grades are the number one most essential part into playing any college sport, into getting anywhere. You need to have good grades. If you don't have good grades, 9 times out of 10, 90% of the coaches are just gonna pass you by. I've seen it happen over and over. In my case, I didn't have the best grades in high school, but going into college, that helped kind of shape and mold me to where I am today, to where I'm a decent student. And so you need to make sure, please, you need to make sure that your grades are on point, because grades tell college coaches a lot of things. And I genuinely do believe that grades are the number one thing that a college coach will look at. I've had college coaches come up to me and say, well, what are your grades like? They've come up to my high school coach. Number one question, what is his grades like? And basically off that, they can tell a coach a lot of things, honestly. It tells you that you're accountable, that you're dedicated, that they can rely on you, that they don't have to stress about you not being eligible midway through the season simply because you can't take care of your schoolwork. It shows them that you're mature in your mind and that you're not just focused on basketball, but you're also focused on things beyond basketball, because without grades, you have nothing. You have basketball, but if you take basketball away, what do you have? You don't have anything. I've seen a lot of players come in and get injured, family things happen, but their grades were poor, and result of that, they didn't do as successful as they thought that they would do coming into college. And so make sure that your grades are number one. I hate to see anyone become ineligible midway through the season. I've seen it happen time and time again. It happened to me in high school and in college. You just don't want it to happen. It's a bad look, and you just don't even want to go through all that stress. So grades, number one. Okay, number two. If you're worried about how tall you are, how small you are, how skinny you are, that means absolutely nothing. I mean, maybe the higher you go in the basketball ranks, whether that's professionally or overseas, it might matter. Size might matter a little bit, but college, it doesn't matter at all. I've seen it all. I've seen short players come in and make a big impact on the team. At the same time, I've seen guys above 6 foot, 6'5", 6'9", 6'10", come in and contribute the minimum to the team. It doesn't matter. It truly only comes down to one thing, and that's heart. I always say, even in my mind, even though I'm kind of an undersized player for my position, especially at the professional level, the only thing that matters is your heart. If you have the heart to pursue, to push past adversity, hardship, and trials and tribulations, that's all you need. All you need is heart and the belief in yourself. If you believe in yourself, there's nothing that you can't do. First things foremost, you just have to believe that you can make it to college, believe that you can have a good enough campaign in high school to make it to the college level. You have plenty of options to go. Based on your skill set, you can play D1, D2, D3, JUCO, junior college, NAIA. It's unlimited possibilities. I started out at a community college simply because I only played 1 year high school basketball. Yeah, I was just at that level. I wasn't at a Division I level, but the number one thing that it taught me was how to have heart. The number one thing it taught me was how to face adversity and how to overcome adversity and how to keep going even if you get knocked down. So, number two, heart over height. Okay, number 3, it kind of ties into what I was talking about in the last point. There is another ingredient that ties into the process of becoming a basketball player. Or shall I say a successful basketball player, somewhat to whatever degree that you may want to reach. And that is grit. G-R-I-T. Grit. I'll put the definition up here on the screen. But basically, you need grit, whether that's on the basketball court or off the basketball court. You need grit. When you get knocked down, you don't feel like going another rep, you don't feel like doing it anymore, you need grit to push through. It is that raw human just willpower to push forward, that willpower to get through, the willpower to say that no matter what I may come up against, I am better than this, I am bigger than this, I am stronger than this. And that also ties into the point of trusting the work that you put in. If you work hard and if you stay consistent and you trust in the work that you put in, you will thank yourself years down the road for that, because you'll look back on it and say, man, I kept pushing, I kept going. Now, if I would have stopped pushing, if I would have stopped going forward, who knows where I would be right now. But because I didn't give up, I am here in life. I'm here in life instead of here in life. And so if you have that grit, college coaches love to see a player that has grit in them, because they know that it's not there just for show. They know that you're working towards something internally, because once you have your why for what you want to do, then it makes your work just that much more meaningful to you, and it'll show. Coaches can see potential. Coaches can read potential very well. Why do you think that all the young players that you see on YouTube, for example, Imani Bates, when Imani Bates was in 5th, 6th grade, the NBA college scouts were looking at him and they saw the potential, simply because of how he played. And he was in middle school and had a lot of colleges on him in middle school. And now look at him, he's the #1 player in the country, going to Michigan State, doing big things. And so if you got that grit, just make sure you keep that on you at all times. Like, keep it on you like you keep hand sanitizer throughout our days. Like, keep it on you like you keep a mask on you. You feel me? Keep that grit in your heart and you gonna be good. You gonna be Gucci, I promise you. Okay, moving forward onto things on the basketball court that you can work on to get better and to get noticed by college coaches. I believe this right here is key to catching attention, because it all ties into everything else that I talked about in this video, which is heart. I feel like a lot of players nowadays are so caught up in being an offensive threat, of being able to score the ball, score without the ball, this and that, maybe being able to knock down threes, this and that. Sure, those things are great. Sure, those things are admirable by a lot of players. A lot of kids watch the NBA and they want to be that guy. But if you take a close look at it, I'm not sure if you've heard this saying before, but defense wins championships. Defense wins championships. Defense wins championships. Defense wins championships. I feel like so many players are just caught up. They're caught up in the offensive threat that they fail to realize that if you have defense, you can start on any team that you want. If you have defense, you can make it onto any team that you want. If you really focus on the fundamentals of defense, whether that be defensive rebounds, offensive rebounds, diving on the floor for loose balls, locking up a defender, steals, all types of stuff. If you're a good defender, college coaches will look at that and they will admire that about you, and that will make them a lot more interested in you, simply because it shows them heart once again. And it also shows them that you're a versatile player. It shows them that you're not just caught up in being an offensive guy. You're not caught up in being the guy, but you're willing to get down there and do all of the dirty work. You're willing to get down there and do all of the stuff that other players do not want to do. You'll be good. The offense will come later down the road. Sooner or later, the offense will come. Don't even worry about being the best player that you can be offensively. Worry about being a great, excellent, if you will, defensive player, because that will carry you so far. Take it from me. I'm not an offensive threat by the best means. I can score the ball simply off my size. I mean, I'm 6'7", 6'8" on a good day, 230, 240 pounds, somewhat athletic. I can rebound the ball really well. That's the one thing that stands out to coaches. Even since high school, the coaches always said I've had long arms. I'm able to rebound the ball. They like the way I play defense. I can play any position, almost 1 through 5. I'm working on it every single day, making sure that my defense is on point, because once again, coaches love a player that can play defense. It's something you can't teach. You can't teach hard. You can't make somebody want what they don't want. You have to simply fall in love with the process. You have to simply fall in love with playing defense. Basketball is a very fast-paced sport. 1 point can be the deciding factor. You've seen a lot of NBA games, college games. You've seen teams literally lose national championships at the very last millisecond. I always think to myself, like, how come so many basketball games with close end scores, like you will see scores like 114 to 115, 125 to 128. Like, how are they losing by this much points? That's just the type of game that basketball is. The reason defense is so important, because one rebound, one stop, one steal can be the deciding factor of whether you win or whether you lose. That's why it's so important to stress defense. You almost have to become obsessed with defense. The way I look at defense personally is that I'm looking at the guy I'm trying to stop. I'm looking at him like, oh, he's literally trying to take food out of my mouth. Like, you have to be that obsessed. Like, he's literally trying to take food away from my family. Like, I kind of think of it like, if I don't stop this guy, my family not gonna eat. That's just the way my mind is wired. Like, you have to almost kind of trick your mind into becoming obsessed with it. One play can be the deciding factor, so that's why defense is so important. This next point that I'm going to touch on isn't really a necessity, but it helps when coaches are looking for a player, when coaches are recruiting, and that is making sure that you're staying in shape. So what I do in the summer, what I'm doing right now, I work out 5 times a week, maybe 1.5 rest days, because I barely rest. If you guys want to, you can go to my fitness page, Grind with CJ. I do not like the way I just did that. Like, what is this? That's so awkward, like, ow. Okay, but I'm gonna just put it up here. You can go to my fitness page, Grind with CJ. I post a lot of stories and workouts that I do throughout my summer on there, and so yeah, make sure you're staying conditioned. You can do sprints, you can go run a hill. Me personally, I try to aim for a mile a day. A mile a day, you'll be good, because I hate when conditioning comes around and I am not in shape. It is the worst feeling ever. It tells the coaches that you haven't been working on yourself throughout the summer, and it's just a bad look, and it already puts you at a disadvantage from the start. And so you want to make sure going into conditioning that you're in shape. And also, even if you're in high school or whatever the case may be, you don't want to be in a game and you're dead tired. You don't want to be in a game and you can't think as sharp because you're focused on catching your breath. You always want to stay on point. You always want to make sure that you're one step ahead of the competition, and at the same time, you're catching the eye of the scouts in the stands. You want to make sure you go above and beyond. You want to show them that you are ready for the next level. And staying conditioned, staying in shape is very important. So just make sure you do that and you'll be good. The next point that I'm going to hit on is something that's very important, and something that honestly holds a lot of kids back from reaching their full potential. It holds a lot of kids back from getting college scholarships. It's literally crushed dreams, and that is body language. When you're on the court, when you're playing, I know things can get rough. I know things can get intense. I know people can make you mad. I know dudes throw sucker punches. I know dudes talk trash. Forget all that. You're focused on bettering your life. This is your future in your hands right now. And so body language is the #1 most important, well, I wouldn't say #1, but it is one of the most important things when looking to play college basketball. This also ties into on the court and off the court. Coaches watch you all the way from when you're on the court and when you're on the bench. Body language tells all. I messed up with this terribly. Like, I had a bad attitude. I had no one to guide me through this. But when you're on the court, if somebody throws a sucker punch or guys are talking trash, just simply don't respond. Know what you're there to do and just focus on that and that only. If you're over here yapping off at the mouth, like talking back to refs, talking back to your coaches, talking back to the other team, talking back to your teammates, not helping guys up, this and that, throwing the attitude when things don't go your way, it's just simply not going to work out for you. Because think about it, from a college coach's perspective, if you're doing that on the court in high school, you're also going to do that on the court in college. And so who wants a kid with a bad attitude? Nobody does. Every college coach loves a player, an individual, a person with good sportsmanship, because because that doesn't just mean on the court. If you're like that on the court, they're just thinking about how you are off the court. How are you handle personal situations. You have to make sure that you're on point and that you're focused and you're not worried about the negative things and the things that are there to just poke at you, because it's not worth it. Like, I promise you, it's not worth it. So body language tells all. Even when you're on the bench, if coach pulls you out and you're not ready to come out the game, coach sits you for whatever reason, and you can't be on the bench slumped over or with a towel over your head like this. Like, you have to be on point. Though it may hurt on the inside, do that when you go home, do that when you exit the gym. Like, it might hurt in the moment, but you have to be thinking about your future. You can't just think about me. I know you've heard the saying, there's no I in team. You can't always be thinking about yourself. You have to know that, okay, there's a potential college here for me. Like, even if I don't see it, just know that somebody is always watching. You never know what type of opportunity you may get. Just know that somebody's always watching. I guess this is one of the last points I'm going to make in this video, but I feel like this is a very important and essential point to making it to the college level. And so a lot of kids around the country, I know you see kids on Instagram, Ball is Life, all these YouTube videos, top ranked kids. You know, there's every school in the country looking for them. And that may not be the case for most kids. Players like me, kids like me, I was a late bloomer. I started playing basketball in the 9th grade. I was cut from my 8th grade team. And so I only had my senior year of high school to play high school basketball, and I got that last minute college offer. But if you're not nationally known, if you're not ranked or anything like that, it can become extremely hard. And a lot of players I've seen get discouraged simply because they don't have coaches looking for them. But the thing that you can do, the beautiful thing about it, is that you can go to them.
Oh my God! Wow! Oh my God!
And there's been a lot of talent that's been wasted simply because coaches didn't even know about them. And so if there's a school that you're thinking about attending, if there's a school that you want to attend that you've been looking at, send the coach an email, send the coach a phone call, leave him a voicemail. I've done all of that. I've sent hundreds of schools, literally, I've sent hundreds of schools emails, texts, calls. I've gone up to their door. I've sat outside of a coach's office. Like, it's that serious. Like, I've sat outside their office waiting for them to walk by so I can get a conversation with them, so I can tell them about myself and who I am, what I have to offer, and what I can bring. And maybe this is something that I can make another video on. I can go through and show you guys the emails that I've sent to a lot of college coaches. I'll show you exactly what to say, exactly what to list about yourself to make the email look attractive and to make them want to look into who you are as a person and who you are as a player. It sounds kind of crazy, but coaches love a guy who can do that because it shows them a lot. It shows them that you're willing to play at a higher level, that you're serious about it. And there's a lot of guys on college basketball teams that take that for granted. They forget the blessing of playing college basketball. They forget that they're there for a reason, that there's millions of kids that want to be in their shoes, but they take that for granted. So you have to make sure that you're doing your part also. If you're not getting looked at, you have to go to them. It's not just going to come to you how you want it to. It's not going to come to you on a silver platter. Like me, I wouldn't be at the school that I'm at if I wasn't reaching out. I'm here because I reached out to a college coach. Like, I reached out to hundreds of coaches, and coaches have connections. Just as many college coaches that I've emailed, probably more than half of those coaches didn't even respond to me. They told me they weren't interested, this and that, but I stayed persistent because I knew that, okay, they might not want me, but they might know somebody who does. Oh, they might not want me, but they might have a connect over here that they can plug me with. And it worked out, and that's exactly what I did. I emailed a coach. He told me that he wasn't interested. He can make some calls for me to see what he can do to help me get to a school, because I was kind of in a rough situation, which I'll cover in other videos. If it wasn't for me putting myself out there, if it wasn't for me staying up late night typing those emails, sending out emails to multiple schools, I would not be here. And so you have to stay persistent. Don't get discouraged, and just know that it's all gonna work out. Yeah. Well guys, that's pretty much the video for you. It is currently 2:30 in the morning right now, and I have no idea why I'm up making a video, but I had to make this content. I want to see you guys get better. I want to see you guys do well. So if you like the video, like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, I'm gonna see y'all in the next video. I'm out.